and welcome to Tea Time with Pizza. Guys, I know it's been a long time since we've posted a video, but I am so excited today to do this video for you. And right here with me, I've got Nathaniel. Some of you have actually requested for him to be on Tea Time, and so I've heard, your request, and I brought him into tea time today to do tea time with me. Nathaniel is actually one of the most outspoken men in a positive manner on social media that I personally follow, and I love all his posts and everything that he posts. His posts are so women empowering and inspiring, and it's just full of positivity. And that is the main reason why I wanted to have him on tea time today. Nay, that's how your friends call you, isn't it? Nay, you're welcome to tea time. I am so honored to have you on tea time with Peter, and you're welcome.
No, it's my pleasure. Like you said, I'm very outspoken, and I speak what I believe is the truth for me. It's my own opinion, and I don't expect everyone to agree with me or even understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of times people can message me and I can elaborate on what I meant.
Yeah.
But it's not, I just write and say things that I feel or see, or if I can help one person, then it's worth it.
Yes,
and that's the way I see
and
it.
I do know for a fact that you help a lot of people, even though many might not actually say it.
Yeah.
But how many times do you always read a post that is just so positive and so uplifting,
Yeah.
and it speaks to you, but you don't comment, but you still acknowledge the fact that it's
Yeah,
it's
100%. Yeah.
it's an empowering
Of
post.
course.
And so I'm really excited to do this with you. I've been following your recent post, and
Yeah.
I saw one that I recently shared personally myself on my page.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to you about two of them. I wanted you to help me elaborate further on what you meant,
Yeah.
because that post spoke to me and I found it so empowering, and I believe that a lot of other women found it empowering out there. But I just wanted to go through it with you on Tea Time, because I know I have a lot of fans and a lot of people that watch Tea Time, a lot of women and men that I know that would like to also have access
Okay.
to the positivity that you always give on social media. I'm just gonna go and read one of the posts, and then you can elaborate more on it, and then we'll move on to further discussion. You posted this few days ago, and I read, "Stop letting these boys make you think you're wrong for wanting to be taken care of. I don't care what this new generation of women or social media tells you. A man is supposed to support his woman. A man is supposed to love on his woman. If he's with you, he should be providing for you. It doesn't matter how much money you make or what you do. That is beside the point. A man is the head of the household. These new age boys are weak to try and depend on a woman. Yes, make sure you're always in a position to be okay with or without a man. And if your man stumbles or fall, be there to lift him back up. But you ain't carrying the weight of no household on your back when you have a man, and that's just it." And then further you went and said, "Weight is better carried on shoulders than on hips,"
Yeah.
which I found very interesting, but I think you need to elaborate more on that point. Weight is better carried on shoulders than on hips.
Because when we talk about women, hips is where they bear children from. So when we talk about weight is better carried on shoulders, and men, we're seen as more stronger physically.
Yeah.
So our shoulders, weight is easier carried on shoulders. Even in the gym, it's easier to carry weight on shoulders than on your hips.
That's true.
So by saying that is meaning the man is the one who is meant to carry the household.
Yeah.
So the man, let's say, is the one who plans out where you're going to go, and the woman brings it to life. So together you make a partnership. And the problem is, this generation is talking about 50-50, everything like that. But the man still has to lead. He still has to be the provider. I still believe a man has to be a man and a woman has to be a woman. And I'm not talking about cleaning or cooking or anything like that. But I believe the man is the provider. You can't sit there and take handouts from your woman and her pay bills and all this in the household while the man is working, the woman is working too. As a man, it brings you like joy and pride to see that you're looking after your family, you're providing for them, you're bringing new ideas and new things to the table.
Yeah.
And the woman is your balancer and you're her balancer. Together you make a good team. And the
Yes.
problem is a lot of men these days aren't working as hard as the women because it became easier just to depend on the women. But
Yeah.
most women you know are working hard. So it doesn't matter how much money she brings to the table. If you've got $100, you're willing to partake, say $70 of that 100,
Yeah.
and she's got 10,000. It doesn't matter. It means more that you're willing to partake of that $70 out of the 100.
Yes.
And a lot of times we get confused with like superficial stuff and like material things and oh my man need to buy me this and that. No. Sometimes it's just the fact that he take you out for dinner and pay for the dinner.
Yes.
That's what I mean by like providing.
Okay.
So and that's why the last statement was, I wrote that last statement because that's how I look at the man and the woman. The man is the strength and the woman is the giver of life, like the child bearer or whatever. That's pretty much the roles.
Yeah. I really love this post. Like when I saw it, I was very inspired and happy in a way that a man is still thinking this way. Because when like right now in our generation, all I'm hearing is 50-50, 50-50. What does a woman bring to the table? What do you have to bring on to the table? And women being labeled gold diggers or users just because they require that the man that they're with should be taking care of them. And like you, I also do believe that a man is the head of the household, and as the head, you need to lead, and you need to lead in most things. But one thing that I really love about this post is the fact that you did not take away the part where a woman should still be a contributor
Of course.
to the relationship and to the providing aspect of the
Yeah.
family. You said two things. First, you said make sure you're always in a position to be okay with or without a man. First, you're telling a woman, have your shit together. Be a woman that you can look after yourself.
Yeah.
First of all, that's one. Number two, another thing that you mentioned is you said be there to lift him up when he stumbled. You also said something that was very empowering. You said make sure you're always in a position to be okay with or without a man. And then further, another thing that I really love is you didn't take away the fact that a woman should be a contributor to the relationship and be a helper and an assistant to her man. You said if your man stumbles or fall, be there to lift him back up. Which means, ladies, have your shit together. Be able to contribute to that man, but just don't take the full responsibility of the relationship, of the financial struggles and everything else that is supposed to be happening in the relationship. Let the man be in the forefront
Of
and
course.
you just be by his side to help him.
100%.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
or-
like
yeah.
the thing is, we talk about submissive. The women these days aren't submissive, but a man has to actually be a man for a woman to be submissive. And the thing
Praise
is,
God, though.
for a man to provide and to lead and to protect, that's his duties as a man. Doesn't matter what happens in 1,000 years, even 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
That was the duties of a man. You can't expect
It
a
was.
woman to go fight wars. That's a man's job. So if the man stumbles in any area, because sometimes you never know what happens. Maybe everything's going good and then something happened at work or you get injured or anything can happen. The woman has to also be there to
Be there
provide.
to provide.
And that's the difference when people talk about women, gold diggers, this and that. A lot of women these days like to control the financial things as well because then they're in control of the relationship. Men have forgot how to lead and women have forgotten how to be led. And that's what I meant by the whole post.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the whole situation on that.
That's good. So, do you think that women sometimes contribute to a man not leading? Like you just made a great point. You said sometimes women, you said women have forgotten to be led,
Mm-hmm.
to allow men to lead. They wanna instead take over and become the leaders, the
Yeah.
head of their families. Do you think that sometimes contribute to the men's laziness in that aspect?
I think
Of the relationship?
sometimes the woman tries to. Society has tried to empower the women so much that people need to understand. By empowering women, you don't need to degrade men. You can lift both up at the same time.
Yeah.
So the problem is all this stuff that's going on these days is trying to empower men and trying to empower women and degrade men. Even when I write what I write, I never write what I write to degrade men. It's for men. Men as men, we understand what we do anyway, but with our pride and ego and everything, we don't want to talk
Yeah.
about it because behind closed doors, I have these conversations with my friends, but out in public, they're never going to say it.
Yeah.
That's the difference with me. I'll say it in public and I'll say it behind closed doors. So the problem is women have tried to take over the role of the man, and in turn, it's making the man feel less manly. So if you're feeling less
And some
manly,
men like that, so they won't fight back.
Exactly,
They
so you
just,
just
they just
withdraw.
settle.
yes, and that's the
Yeah.
problem these days.
And when you look around now, you can actually see that there are a lot of families that are basically led by women.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we'll move to our next post. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for that, for bringing so much clarity to that.
That's right.
That was good. And you also wrote another one that I was really interested in also touching on with you. And you posted this, you said, there is so many good women that have sacrificed their dreams, goals and happiness to make sure that the man they are with have reached their goals, only to be left for a woman that knows nothing about sacrificing. And then you continue to the men. You said, fellow men, that's beyond foolish. A woman that will sacrifice it all for you deserves more than the world. She was good enough to sacrifice for you and be there through the struggles, but she's not good enough to reap the benefits? Question mark. We as men must get in tune.
What I meant by that is a lot of men have struggled in their life, and at one point in time, a woman has been there to help, let's say, lift you from the rubble, lift you from rock bottom,
Yeah.
and seen you struggle. Like you haven't had the job you wanted, you haven't had the education you wanted, and you're struggling to get by, check to check, you're struggling to get by. And then you get in a position that now you are financially, emotionally, physically where you want to be, and then that woman doesn't seem as appealing anymore.
Suddenly she's not to your
Because now
standard.
you have more money, you have more this, you have more like swagger. You have now
out
the
of
other
struggles.
women look more appealing because they haven't had to sacrifice. Now your
And
woman
now they
looks-
find you more appealing,
Yes.
because maybe before they didn't want you because
Exactly.
you were struggling.
That's the thing.
Now you have
like-
more customers.
Yes, so now you have more variety. Like so, and the woman that struggled with you has forgone like her own dreams and goals, like her own education or on this or whatever, to make sure you reach your full potential. And now she doesn't look as appealing to you because now you're like, oh, you're not working, you don't have drive, you don't have passion, but she put all that into you.
Yeah.
And that's what that's correlates with the last post. You still got to be your own person.
Yeah.
You gotta have your own identity. And a lot of women, they almost lose their identity in a relationship because they forget who they were before it. And
Yes.
same as some men. Some men forget who they are before the relationship, and then they get rid of all their friends, and
Yeah.
they just about their woman and not still doing the things they used to do.
Yeah,
go
not
to
focusing on their
events they
own.
used to go to, or go to family dinners, or go to and everything becomes about the woman. As a man and woman, if they are your emotional, like the reason why you're emotionally good, then you'll never be good. Because once it's taken away, then you're not good. So it's about building yourself
Yeah.
and building together. We always talk about relationship. Oh, we're gonna build together. We'll grow together. But at the same time, you got to grow yourself as well.
Yeah.
It's about growing and learning yourself because every day is a new day
Yeah.
and things change all the time. So that's what I meant by that post, to be honest.
So you can't pour from an empty cup. There's a saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to be able to have your own identity and be able to develop your own life so that you are able to give to the person that you're with, so that you're able to greatly support the person that you're with. You cannot drain your whole self out and then, like, to me, even I don't want to be supported by someone who is completely drained out and it's all about me and doesn't have anything for themselves and doesn't give back to themselves. So this post is really, it has touched me. And another thing that when I read it, it reminded me of a story of a celebrity couple that were recently having marital issues and problems. And the thing is about the wife of this musician is a wife of an artist. I'm not gonna go and quote the name and stuff, but this particular woman has been with this man for many years, and she came into the relationship or into the marriage when this guy already had baby mamas, dramas going on, and she supported him fully. She's an actress and he's a musician, and right now when you hear her name, you don't hear anything about her career or about her identity or about, like, take the husband away from her, she's basically just a normal name without an identity, without a background. The fact that she's even an actress is not even out there. Like, nobody even reference her in her movies and say, oh, this woman is a great actress and she's got this going on for herself and she's got this. When we hear about the actresses and stuff, we know that this is what they do and this is their network and this is a foundation that they've set up and this is this that they're doing. But this particular African, she's a Nollywood actress, there's nothing attached to her name except for the fact that she's married to one of the biggest artists.
Yeah.
And recently they were having their marriage crumbling and stuff, and I thought to myself, how foolish of one to abandon their own dream completely and focuses on another person's dream. If they take that person away from you basically have nothing, and right now she has nothing. So when I saw this post about sacrificing and being left for someone who didn't sacrifice, it reminded me of her story.
Yeah. It's also like, even what I say about all different things, not every person, like not every woman wants a certain type of love. Every woman wants something different. So there's relationships I've been in as well that I've given a certain type of love that other women would say, oh, I wish I had that type of love, but the woman I was with didn't even want that type of love or couldn't even appreciate it because that's not what she's after. So at the same time, you got to find out what works for you as a couple, because every couple has their own brand. So maybe at the time, that's what worked and kept her relationship together. So you have to also understand is no one has a manual to how a relationship's going to work.
But your brand shouldn't be leading to one side.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
It should be either a common brand, a joint brand, or you have a joint brand in a relationship, and then you have your separate brand. Like, for example, I always believe that as a couple, when you're married, you should have at least three bank accounts, 3 or 4.
Of course.
You should have your personal bank account. I, as a woman or the other part of the relationship, should have my own bank account. We've got a joint family bank account, and then maybe we have a joint family saving bank account. Then the normal joint bank account is where all expenses relating to family and the house and the bills and the whatever goes from. And then the saving one is, rainy days for the whole family. And then I, as a woman, have got my own account that has my own little funds in it. And then you as a man, my man has his own account that has its own funds in it. Because I don't want to always have to be saying, baby, can we go to the bank so you can sign me this check because I need this much money from the family account. Like, I should be able to, as a woman, just get up and go and get a pair of shoes, or
Yeah, you should be able to spend your money
should
on
be
what
able
you
to
want.
go for
And same
lunch
with
and
the
do
man.
whatever I want to do without having to double check. And I feel like that is the same in the relationship growing sense, in growing sense. You should have your individual identities, connections, and then have it bringing an income, or streaming together to a join, to a united.
Yeah, you gotta unite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's good to like have your own things and have joint things, and that's pretty much.
But why do you think men do that?
what?
I'm gonna end with that question. Why is it that some men do that?
Do what?
The foolish one. You've named them as
No,
foolish.
because
Why do men leave women who have sacrificed so much and everything for them, for women who has not sacrificed
Because
anything?
at that point in time, the woman was giving the man what he needed, and then once he had grown and adapted, and the woman, because she had sacrificed so much, she hadn't grown and adapted. Now the woman doesn't look appealing anymore.
Okay.
But you need to understand that the woman had sacrificed so much. It's like some men, the woman gets pregnant and then her body and everything changes. But she's sacrificed, she's giving you life, she's giving you a kid. So that should make her more appealing to you because she has produced life for you. And some men then look at it like, oh, now she's let herself go. She's not how she was before. Now my eyes are somewhere else. The problem is when you have something, a lot of people think the grass is green on the other side. But if you water your own grass, you see how greener it will be. And that's it. And that's pretty much the end of like that whole situation. But
I also feel like the reason I asked you that question is sometimes I wonder if as women we are sometimes the one that let ourselves down. Like in the sense, like for example, we talked about leaving, sacrificing, like abandoning your own dreams, your own visions and everything, and then focusing on this person and growing them, forgetting to grow you. Of course, if this person grow up, he's going to see you as of a lesser value than him, because he's gonna see himself in a higher position and you in a lower position because you have nothing to your name. So I feel like sometimes as women, we're the one that set ourselves up, because if you're with a person and the person is growing and you don't forget to grow yourself, you also grow yourself. I think to an extent that will stop a man from leaving. To me, I just feel like that. Like for example, if a man is growing and you also make sure that you grow, it will be hard for him to leave you, because he's gonna leave you to what? To which woman? Who else out there is more powerful than you are, more valuable than you are? And I always feel like men are afraid to leave a woman that they know will be okay on their own. Like when a man knows that she can do without me, and she don't really give a shit, and I'm not really that as important as I think I am in her life, I feel like that's when men actually wants to stay.
But I feel like
But
that's
when
the same as a woman.
yeah,
though.
but yeah, well,
Because
yeah,
when
I
a
think
man
it's a
doesn't
human
give
thing.
if like a man doesn't give the woman the thought that maybe he could leave me, she pursue it more.
I think as
But
human,
if you make a woman feel too comfortable, that she just doesn't want it.
yeah, I feel like as humans we take what we have too available for granted.
100%.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes that is what contributes to issues like this. And then also don't forget the selfishness. Men probably just want to leave because she's less prettier. Now he has access to more women, like you mentioned earlier, and varieties, like you mentioned earlier. This does it make it right? No, it doesn't make it right. But then in the other way, like I want us to also look at the other aspect. Like you did mention that maybe when they met they were both struggling and they were both having that just helping each other, and then the woman sacrificing, the man sees that as an opportunity. Okay, I'm growing, she's supporting me, she's loving me, of course I'm not going to push her away, because I'm benefiting, and then so he benefits, but then later realizes that I never actually loved her. Like I never actually saw myself marrying this person or staying with this person for life, because she did not have. Earlier when we were communicating, you mentioned something about qualities. She didn't have, maybe she doesn't have the qualities that he actually wanted in the woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. And maybe he come into realization when he's already all settled mentally, financially, and emotionally, and then he realizes that in the case where that happens, who will be to blame? You can't really blame
Both
them.
are to blame.
Both.
Yeah, the man is selfish and the woman didn't understand her own worth. So it's a joint blaming. You can't just blame one side. Every relationship that fails, we both contribute to the failing of a relationship. It's not just one side. As much as someone like to point the finger at one person, you have to understand your own flaws and your own failures in a relationship. It's not just about one person. Even in every argument, there's things that we do wrong, they do wrong. But it's when you understand that you understand yourself. You need to understand yourself for anything to move forward. Even your career, anything, your friendships, relationship, you need to understand yourself. And every time, I don't look at losses, I look at everything as a lesson. So that's pretty much like the way
Since
I
you
look at
always have a lot of wisdom to give out, I'm going to let you end us. If there is anything that you want to say to a woman watching this or to a man watching this, just a sum up of everything that we've discussed, what would you say to them?
You just, in life, you just have to be true to yourself. We all know our own truths, and we all know who we are. Whatever the social media, people, society is trying to tell you how you're meant to be true to you. If you're someone that sends a good morning text every morning, then do that. If you're not, then don't do that. But don't start it that way. Same as a woman. If you're someone that cooks on the first time you see the guy, then that's what the expectations the man is going to have. If that's not you, then don't show that to start with. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, just be true to yourself, guys. Be true to yourself. No matter what, always know what you are doing in the relationship that you're in. And if you are in a relationship that you can see clearly that does not favor you, just leave it. There's no shame in being alone until you get the right person. We're going to end here. Nene, thank you so much for accepting my invite to Tea Time with Pizza. This has been an honor. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people are really gonna love watching this, because I did have requests for you to be on the show, and thank you so much for coming. Guys, thank you so much, family, for watching. This is Tea Time with Pizza. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to share this video. Also, please go and follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you so much. God bless you. Till next time.